Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today Culp Incorporated just filed an 8K reporting their financial results, and I am seeing some interesting adjustments that shed light on their true operational performance. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. This company is reporting earnings, and while some numbers might look a bit jarring initially, we need to look past the headlines to understand what is really going on under the hood. So, Culp Incorporated is putting out their current report. This is a standard filing to let investors know about significant events. The earliest event they're reporting on is the 1st of July 2026, which aligns with when they announced their financial results for their fourth quarter and their full fiscal year that ended back on May 3rd of 2026. This is Culp Incorporated, a company that operates in the consumer cyclical sector, specifically in textile manufacturing. They've got about 829 employees and a market cap around $41 million. Their stock has been trading in a range between $2.7 and $4.8 over the last year, currently sitting at $3.09. They're registered in North Carolina and trade on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol CULP. Now, before we dive into the numbers, let's acknowledge the usual forward-looking statements. Companies put these in to manage expectations and cover themselves legally. They're talking about future plans, projections, and beliefs about how things might go. But as they rightly point out, these are statements with inherent risks, and actual results can differ a lot. They list a bunch of factors that could influence their future, from housing starts and consumer confidence to interest rates, tariffs, and even public health emergencies. It is a pretty broad list, covering a lot of the uncertainties businesses face. They also mention that they don't intend to update these statements unless required by law. So it's a snapshot of their thinking on the date of the report. The key takeaway here is that the company is acknowledging a lot of potential headwinds, but that is pretty standard for this kind of filing. Alright, let's get to the heart of the matter, their financial results. On the 1st of July 2026, Culp Incorporated released a news announcement detailing their financial performance for the fourth quarter and the full fiscal year ending May 3rd, 2026. A copy of this news release is included as an exhibit with this filing. The information they're providing here is being furnished, not filed, which is a subtle but important distinction in regulatory terms. It means it is being provided to the sexy, but it doesn't carry the same legal weight as something that is officially filed. One of the most important things they're doing here is presenting what they call adjusted income statement information. This is a non-GAAP measure, meaning it is not calculated according to the standard US generally accepted accounting principles. They're doing this to show their operational performance without certain items that aren't expected to happen regularly. In these adjusted numbers, they're excluding things like restructuring credits, related charges, and expenses. Specifically, they're pointing to costs associated with selling a former mattress fabrics plant in Quebec, Canada, and initiatives to integrate their upholstery segment. Moving operations from rented places to their own facility in Stokesdale, North Carolina, they believe this adjusted view helps investors compare financial results across different periods more easily, as these restructuring events are one-off. They use this adjusted information internally to evaluate performance and in their executive compensation programs. However, they do caution that this adjusted view should not replace or be considered in isolation from the official GAAP numbers. They're also talking about their net debt, another non-GAAP liquidity measure. They define net debt as their cash and investments available to fund operations minus their total outstanding borrowings. They think this gives investors a clearer picture of their cash or debt position over time, regardless of how they finance things. Again, they emphasize this shouldn't be viewed in isolation from GAAP measures. Another key non-GAAP metric they're highlighting is adjusted free cash flow. This measures their available cash flow after accounting for operating activities, capital expenditures, and other cash movements. They see this as a valuable metric to show how much cash is available for things like paying down debt, buying back stock, or investing in the business. Again, it is important to remember that not all of this adjusted free cash flow might be available for discretionary spending because of mandatory payments. They also discuss adjusted EBITDA, which is a performance measure that removes interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, stock-based compensation, and importantly, those restructuring charges and credits we mentioned earlier. They've also started excluding non-cash foreign exchange impacts from this measure starting in late 2025 to give a clearer view of operational performance, and they've applied this to all periods presented for comparison. They believe this measure is useful because investors and analysts often use it to compare companies in their industry. However, They rightly point out that this measure isn't standardized across all companies and has its limitations, including not reflecting all the cash needed for taxes, debt service, or capital expenditures. Management uses it to analyze earnings by excluding items that depend on financing structure and non-cash items. Here on page 5, we see the exhibit index. The main piece of information is Exhibit 99.1, which is the news release dated the 1st of July 2026. That is where all the detailed financial results are. And finally, the report is signed by Kenneth R. Bowling, the Chief Financial Officer, on behalf of CULP Incorporated. Looking at the context from recent headlines, it seems like CULP Incorporated is indeed navigating some challenging conditions with a Q4 loss anticipated. As noted by Guru Focus and TradingView, the mention of limited forward guidance amid macroeconomic uncertainty from Guru Focus on the same day as this filing strongly suggests that the company is cautious about what the immediate future holds. This aligns with the extensive list of risks and uncertainties they've outlined in the report. What seems to be the story here is a company undergoing some significant restructuring and integration efforts. The adjusted financial metrics are designed to show investors the underlying operational health, stripping out the costs and benefits associated with these one-time events. It's a common practice, especially when a company is making big changes. The question for investors is whether these adjustments are truly masking a solid core business that will emerge stronger after the restructuring, or if they're a way to make less than ideal current performance look better. Given the external buzz around potential losses and uncertainty, it suggests that while the operational picture might be improving slowly, the path forward is still quite bumpy. The risk I am watching is whether the costs and disruptions from these restructuring and integration efforts will continue to weigh on profitability, and if the underlying demand for their textile products will recover sufficiently to make these efforts truly pay off. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description.